Okay, right on. Here, let me go ahead and put these on. Oh, do you prefer Jimmy?
Yeah, that's fine.
Jimmy Burke?
Jimmy Flowers.
Jimmy Flowers. Love that. Jimmy Flowers. Boom.
My real name's James Henry Beckett.
Where did the Burke come? Where am I thinking Burke?
I don't know, but my real name's James Henry Beckett.
James Henry Beckett.
But I don't use that.
Jimmy Flowers.
Yep.
Love it. There you go. Put these guys on.
You see this lady right here?
Oh yeah.
I took her off the street. I took her off the street for 3 years because her brother worked at Pixar. Her dad had an industry in Texas and they let her languish almost to die. She looked like somebody's grandmother. I took her off and she rejuvenated. And she helped me with everything. Give out blankets. I fed out a tartine. She helped me there.
Right.
I gave her a place
Brother,
to live.
you're all spraying gold right now. We need to get this. We haven't hit record
The
yet.
thing is,
Hit me.
that's Becky.
Oh, okay. Whoa.
Well,
Damn. Okay, here's your mic. We're gonna do a quick little testing 1, 2. So you should be able to hear my voice and your own voice in your own headphones. Can you hear yourself?
check.
Checkity, 1, 2. Okay, sweet. Okay, we're gonna do a quick sound check here. Oh, let's get a little comfy. Thank you, sir. Jimmy Flowers. Okay, got some notes here, just some tinder, if you will. Okay, brother. Let's do a quick sound check here. So, testing 1, 2. Testing 1, 2. Say anything.
Bless.
Boom. You play it back. Bless. There we go.
Blessings is off. Blessings.
There we
Blessings.
go. There we go. Okay. Okay. We're gonna do this thing. You ready, Jimmy? Once I hit record here, there's no going back.
Copy.
Okay, so I'm gonna do a quick little intro and then I'll pop you in. Sound good?
Lovely.
I love it. That was use that word a lot. Right on. Okay, we're on in 3, 2, 1. Every now and then you'll run across someone that feels almost fictional, feels like they've come out of a movie or a character in a book or something like that. Traveling with a Carnival for a decade, planting flowers on the streets, giving weed away, cannabis products for an optional donation, of course. You can say I love you in 30 languages. Writing poetry on classmates.com. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm here with Jimmy Flowers, and I can confirm he's real. Jimmy, how we doing, brother?
Lovely.
So I've run into Jimmy a couple times on Polk Street, and he ran into him last night. He came, dropped off some goodies for me and the roommates. We got to riffing, and he's always talking about his story, which I love. He's always saying, "This is what I did. I did this. Yeah, check it out. I want you to know about it." So Jimmy, I just want to start. Just give me the rundown. What do you do now, and what have you done? What brought us to this room right here?
Basically, I was born on Halloween, 9 o'clock at night in San Francisco. Angelically divine from the heavenly bodies into Noe Valley with my father and mother. And I guess she had developmental issues, and she wasn't happy. And in April 59, my dad lifts me up out of the crib, and where's your mother? I've been crying, I don't know. And then a few minutes later, I opened the door to the basement, and she had perished before my father arrived by hanging herself. And I saw her already passed in my father's arms. And so that was the start of a new adventure to where I would have to actually go deep into my heart and soul of who I really am and what I really want to do with my life, and ignore the fact that there was 2 or 3 other suicides in my family, and I grew up out of poverty, And so I would meditate and meditate, and then I learned how to do somersaults and fly in my dreams.
Right.
And then I enhanced my dreams by connecting with angelic spirits, supreme beings that are invisible from the heavenly bodies, and I would let them actually guide and protect me from a young age into this very moment. And they continue to guide and protect me, inspire me. I've been given such a beautiful, wonderful, lovely life. I am sincere and genuine. I make mistakes, but I'm very honored to be on this planet before I go back upstairs to be angelically remitted. And I feel that the true divine glory of the heart and soul is to give to those less fortunate, to love, to learn, and respect yourself by love and learning to respect others. And so I plant flower gardens all over the city. I give out love and light. I go out in the rain in the middle of the night to see if anybody needs some assistance. And I want to be there for people that their loved ones aren't there for them. And to be able to do that cancels out all the energy from my childhood with my family and growing up out of poverty and suicide. And it's just a great honor and joy to experience humanity as a human and be able to actually create the magnificence of the heart and soul through ingenuity, imagination, as I've been doing for many years.
Wow. There we go. Love it. Love it. So early on, so when this experience happened to you when you were young, when you saw your mom, how old were you again?
I was 3 years old. My
3
sister's
years, okay.
4 months old, and
So as a 3-year-old, you still remember that?
I remember a lot of things about my mother.
Right.
She had developmental issues, and
Right.
she was having a hard time being a housewife when I believe her position on the planet was not to have any kids, but she did. Actually, they weren't planning to have any kids. My dad and my mother were actually going to separate, and all of a sudden, here comes Jimmy Flowers, Halloween night, 9 o'clock at night.
Like it or not. Wow, there we go. Okay, so you had this kind of huge, well, more than one experience growing up that shaped your outlook and kind of, pushed you into a way of thinking and seeking positivity, seeking giving, and all that. So after, when you really started, it sounds like your kind of big adventure into from childhood to the next step was, it sounds like it was the Carnival experience that you did for about a decade. I think that's how long you did it for. Was that kind of when Jimmy Flowers first hit the scene, was the Carnival, or were you doing stuff before that?
Well, basically, when you have a dysfunctional family because of suicide and poverty, there's not a lot of people around to take care of you. So I stayed with my aunt and uncle for a long time. They had a rock shop in Daly City, and then I would go to conventions where they had rock shops where they polish stones and take the earth's best and make jewelry out of it.
Right.
And I stayed in Kingman, Arizona, and went to school there for a while. And then I grew up in Union County, Ohio, Marysville, Claiborne, Richwood. Went to like 2 or 3 different churches. Lived on a 23-acre farm in Summersville. Drove a tractor, had to pick up the eggs 6 o'clock every morning. Went to 4-H meetings. They voted me president of the 4-H club. I won a blue ribbon.
4-H club?
It's hands, health, heart, and head. And it's basically for all farmers. It's like Future Farmers of America, but it's the 4-H club. I believe it's younger people, 4-H, older people, Future Farmers of America. Right. And
how old were you at this point?
I was back in 66, so I was like 11, 12, and 13.
Got it. Okay, right on. And then the Carnival started at 19, right?
Well, actually, after I left Ohio, after a couple of years, I came back. My dad was actually putting in the foundation for BART with Guy F. Atkinson, the contractor. And so we were in 16th and Mission. with my sister, and I was going to school at Everett Junior High. And during that time, he bought some property in Livingston on Longview Avenue in Merced County, California. And I believe it was 67. I went to Everett Junior High, then I went to Oakdale, and then I went to Dale High Elementary, and then I went to Livingston. And then I stayed in Livingston until I graduated, and I went to Stanislaus State College in Turlock.
So all this traveling when you were younger,
Mm-hmm.
did you have a lot of friends, or was that difficult?
Basically, the people I was able to have contact with were really nice people, and it was like uplifting, supportive to meet the different people in different areas. It gave me an idea of communities, and it basically trained me to gauge the emotional latitude of various cities and communities across the United States.
Emotional latitude meaning kind of the energy of the city.
Basically, financial, spiritual, and mental. The way people bond together like a tribe. So I got to
Right.
go different tribal areas of
Right.
communities and cultures around the United States.
So you got a taste of a whole bunch of different things even before you were a man, a grown 19-year-old. You had dipped your toes in so many different things.
Mhm.
Damn, right on. Okay. So then you said you went to the Stanislaus State College?
And my major is psychology. My minors were sociology and art. And while at Stanislaus State College, I ventured over to the county fair.
Right.
And they hired me in the balloon store. That means you pop balloons and collect money and give out stuffed animals. But they wanted me there during the day, but at night they'd throw me out when it got busy. So I was discouraged by that. So I went next door.
Why would they throw you out when it got busy?
Well, I was too young and inexperienced.
So they bring in the big guns.
I was a small gun.
Okay.
I
Okay,
was,
right on.
green help. So
Right.
I went next door and worked for them, developing negatives and photographs of black and whites, 5x7s, 8x10s, and wallets. And at that same time, I already had a dark room at my dormitory. So at that particular moment, I had two dark rooms, one at the Carnival and one in my dormitory. So I was a photographer at that time, and I was also doing freehand drawings and writing poetry. And that was my very first time, and I was like 17, working at the county fair. And then after that county fair, I went and worked at the Merced County Fair. And then I stopped the county fairs for a while until 87, when I was back in Ohio visiting my father after working various jobs and driving various cars. And I traveled with Amusements of America for 10 years from
Florida
to Ottawa. We did the Ottawa Super X, Vermont State Fair, Maryland State Fair, Ohio State Fair, Virginia State Fair. And it was a very amazing, beautiful experience. And it actually trained me to be the professional, kind-giving, understanding, sacrificing human that I am now. And I'm very blessed with my angels for guiding me through the turmoils and challenges during that time.
Right. So when you brought up angelic beings and angels, can you talk a little bit more about what is that a particular sect that other people do you identify with a specific thing? Like what would you call your belief system?
Well, I've sang at Saturday night mass with my girlfriend in
Okay.
Fruitvale, and I've been a Presbyterian. I was baptized in Livingston across the street from the high school.
Right.
I've been to various churches when I was back in Ohio. I played Jesus at one church. I was put on a costume, played a hunchback for raising money at another church.
Right.
There's no denomination that suits me well. I'm just a freelance spiritual man that
Right.
divines life through the truth of the eternal laws of the universe and karma. And I wouldn't particularly say Buddha or anything specific.
Right.
It's actually a collage of everything. I understand and accept what anybody wants their life to be into, but I don't want to be overwhelmed by it and controlled or indoctrinated by any government or church or education.
Right. So fundamentally, it sounds like you believe you give out positivity, that'll come back to you.
Basically, it's documented for the last 5,000 years. You can go around and healing people and giving love and light and beauty, and it actually strengthens your aura and your chakras. And because of that, I've learned to channel my chi through my pineal gland and manifest with ingenuity, imagination, and confidence great magic and beauty and joy. And it's amazing that if you really, truly are sincere and genuine positive efforts through life, no matter how bad things get,
Right.
you will be protected by your love and energy that you share with others.
Right. What would you say to, because I think this, you're getting into one of the fundamental questions, which is, well, one of them I think you're touching on is that, will good things happen to good people? What would you say about the fact that even for people that do what you're saying, can still have life kick the shit out of them? I mean, even people that are, good people doing the things you say can still get absolutely hammered. So how do you justify that?
9 years old, I lived in Delhi. And Delhi, California is my beloved. I mean, I
Right.
learned so much. I learned a little bit about being a caregiver at such a young age. And I had to outbid my cousins to dig ditches. So since 9 years old, I basically started doing hard work,
Right.
pitched watermelons, worked on a turkey ranch, chicken ranch, drove a tractor. And during that time, I learned not to really listen to what people say, because a lot of times when people believe something that they have been indoctrinated with, it's not the truth. It's not something that really matters. It's something that they're having in them from their childhood, their church, their school. And true reality has nothing to do with any of that. True reality is actually going out face to face to see who you really are.
Right.
By helping others. My secret to life is being a volunteer. I've volunteered hundreds of places, soup kitchens and conventions. And when people recognize that you're able to take your valuable time, because we're only on this planet so many years, and when you go out and show people that you really care and make an effort, you're rewarded with their kindness, their understanding, and their respect. So since I was 9 years old, digging ditches, working on turkey ranch, chicken ranch, I've learned not to listen except to, in my heart, and feel the power of the warmth of real angels protecting me and guiding me. And a lot of humans I've met over the years do not have my best interest at heart. And a lot of people will try to steal from me, lie to me, use me, slander me. I've been assaulted many times, pepper sprayed, and all I'm doing is feeding people out of various restaurants and giving love and light. And I'm challenged just because I'm being somebody that I believe in that's not like anybody else. I mean, who's going to go and spend hours day and night planting flowers and giving all their money and love away on the Haight-Ashbury? I mean, it just meant so much to me to be able to channel my angels through the love and light of flowers and food and giving. And then I'm challenged with it, but I do not take anything personal, because I believe in myself, I believe in humanity, but I have to stay within the reality that I have to be careful what I say, where I go, what I do. There's a lot of dangerous moments out there on the street or anywhere in life. And, I've almost been ran over by people in cars and bicycles that were using their technology. And I just got to be aware of everything at one time. And basically, I'm very thankful. I can't really take credit for anything. It's my angels have guided and protected me since I was very young. And I still give them credit. I can go over the most magnificent, beautiful moments. My stepmother didn't like me. My dad would drink a little bit too much, and then I'd have to run away. And my angels would take me up to Yosemite National Park hitchhiking. And life has been so glorious because I trust the spiritual realm more than the material illusion of this planet.
Right. What would you say? I assume that you've run into people where you've shared these beliefs and they've been taken aback by it or thought it was, didn't agree with it or didn't believe it or didn't speak to them, and they thought maybe even call you crazy or something like that. Would you I'm curious what you think about the fact, even if there's no angelic beings, or even if those didn't actually, let's just say that was just something you believed in, that turns out, if there was even a way to prove that they didn't exist, which I don't think there is, does that even matter? Because I've always thought that your beliefs, you can, if you believe something wholeheartedly, even take religion, for example. If you truly believe in God, you truly believe that, when you're taking the Eucharist and the wine, that is the blood and body of Christ. If you truly believe that, it's still just as powerful whether it actually is or actually isn't. So are you concerned? Does that even cross your mind, that am I even believing the right thing? Or do you think, listen, it's got me so far in life that whatever anyone thinks about it, whether it's actually real, whatever it is, I know that it's bringing me positivity, and that's all that matters?
I have worked many places. I've done many things.
Right.
And everything that I do is based on the documentation of my own experiences. Yes, I have seen angels. Yes, I've seen spirits. I was at Michelle Henderson's memorial a few years ago, and her spirit came through, and it was sparkling, and I knew it was her, and it was real, and I could see it. I've seen real angels. I worked at a nightclub in South of Market, and I did maintenance and front door and prep food. And when the owner went away for Christmas with his wife back east, I actually had to deal with real poltergeists that would do real powerful things.
Right.
I was pouring water on the flowers, and steam was coming up. I went down like this with a mouse, and it bit me. But I wasn't really bit, but it was really there. There was real blood.
Right.
But then when my boss came back, it was gone. It was real. I wasn't hallucinating. I wasn't drinking. I wasn't taking any drugs. I was just working the warehouse, and real poltergeists were there, and it was really amazing experience. A little scary, a little apprehensive, but I was in a powerful enough belief to know that no harm would come to me. But it was all a very powerful illusion, and I can see that happening to other people, and they get into that energy. But I was just really glad for that experience, because it was very powerful, and it's just more documentation that 80% of life is the invisible world, and people are actually controlled by spirits and dark spirits, and there is an overwhelming, beautiful energy with this planet and the spiritual realm. Everything we say and do is actually encoded on our soul. All the good things that happen to us, all the bad things, what people say to us, until we're angelically remitted, everything's encoded on our soul.
Angelically remitted, that's ascending into?
Well, that's something that I created myself.
Okay.
Because everybody's got
I think my mom calls it going back to source.
Right. That's similar.
Right.
Very
Okay.
same.
Okay.
Angelic remittance is the actuality of going back to where you actually came from, where all the other loved ones you've been with in many lifetimes are there. Your uncle used to be your daughter used to be your father used to be your cousin.
Right.
We're all connected. Actually, on this planet, everybody's actually been a soulmate to each other. We're all actually related, and we're all actually equal.
And we're living multiple lives. So when I live this life, I'll come back as something else, maybe my own son or something like that. Is that?
Yeah, that's it. But everything I say is very controversial, and you cannot even begin to convince anybody, because everybody is into what they can see in technology.
Totally.
There's garbage on the street. There's a needle on the street. There's a junkie. There's a drunk. There's somebody mentally ill.
Right.
Those are things you see. I believe in things that you can't see, because I feel it and I know it. And a few rare times I've actually witnessed the greatness of the spiritual world. I have no doubts that I'm being guided and protected by spirits. And I'm very honored that I'm in that position, and I'm not being indoctrinated, oppressed, and manipulated by fear, emotions, commercials, and actually, death is a bad commercial. There is no death. All we're doing is we have a spirit, a soul, a kindred soul, an ancient kindred soul that's been through so much, through many lifetimes, in this body. And in the body are only molecules. And what you do with these molecules are very important to the future of your spiritual enlightenment. You go out, commit a crime, hurt another human. You must be careful what you say and do to other people. It's all recorded on your soul. Yeah, it's very controversial, but I'm living proof. Hello, I love you, world. Baby girl.
Baby girl, I love you, world. Jimmy Flowers. Is this angelic remittance? Is it only if you are doing good? Is there's this notion of heaven and hell kind of thing, or would everyone, regardless, go to that place?
Once again, very controversial.
Right.
No one's going to believe a word I say. I'm a lunatic. I need to be locked up. But
right.
It doesn't matter how bad or good you've been.
Right.
Even Santa Claus doesn't care. Listen.
Right.
Everybody goes back upstairs. There is no downstairs.
Right.
This is downstairs. This is it right here. I've slept in the park.
Right.
I've slept in the best rooms available. I've slept in the rain with a tarp over me, and I was just as home as a warm bed after a warm shower, after a warm meal. Right. I got the squirrels, the rabbits, the raccoons. I got hummingbirds coming right up to me, little blue cardinals, sparrows, after putting a bunch of seeds on the ground. I've made these beautiful gardens where in the Corona Heights and Golden Gate Park. I've lived through this beautiful journey of Mother Earth and the spiritual realm, and I'm very comfortable with that. When I do live with people, they basically are dishonest. They steal from me. They threaten me. They extort money from me.
Right.
I mean, that's fine. You can do that to somebody else, but I'm not into that energy. I'm not into people's drama. I basically, anger, jealousy, bitterness, revenge are all self-defeating. It wastes your time. The Hatfield McCoys, they wasted all their lives feuding. No, this is not what we're here for. We're here to give love, light, joy, and beauty to everybody. And it means a lot to me to have everything in my heart and soul and give it to others. And everybody, I'm just here to inspire good humans to be good humans.
There we go. We got a phone call real quick.
And in an interview right now, text me if you're going to be at the front. I can't talk to you because I got headphones on. All right, baby girl. Thank you.
There we go.
So basically, life is an opportunity to actually be a good, inspiring human, to inspire others. But unfortunately, for the last 5,000 years, we have been oppressed, indoctrinated, and manipulated by other people through their own power and greed and corruption of countries. Innocent people always perishing every day. There's 100 million people right now displaced around the world, including the homeless people here in San Francisco, Yemen, Syria, Russia, China. The governments are on a power trip, and all they want to do is have lots of money and power and control people's lives. And even the churches take advantage of children and men and women with money. And
so you think civilization has taken a step back with the institutions we've created, government, religion, etc. So 5,000 years ago, what is that? Hunter? That's not quite hunter-gatherer, is it? I think we had agriculture. When do we have agriculture? I don't even no, we had some agriculture, I think, in 2500 BC.
Well, right here is my favorite all time. Garlic. 5,000-year-old medicine, garlic. It purifies the blood. It's a preventative for your immune system. I eat garlic and ginger raw, and it strengthens your immune system.
So even modern medicine, are you not a big believer in that, or is that it has its place?
Mm-hmm. Basically, I think all science and technology and medicine are regressively primitive.
Right. Well, modern medicine, not like this medicine.
There used to be shamans in the
Right.
1700s that could go from area in area in the United States, and they would use natural herbs, flowers, and food to heal people.
Right.
And we didn't need, I hate talking about this, but pharmaceutical companies are
Right.
not really good. They're gaining power and control, manipulation, indoctrination by letting the opioids kill hundreds and hundreds of people. And we're supposed to love and respect each other, but we're basically killing each other with bombs and drugs and alcohol and incarceration and guns and
So what would you I guess what would you say about, like, for example, the polio vaccination? Like, there's certain things that have modern kind of creations that have absolutely extended life and made life better. Would you say there are some instances where, okay, this was a good thing, but on the whole, there's a lot of bad that this stuff still creates?
right. Basically, there's a lot of good medicine out there, but it gets overrun by bad medicine. I've been a caregiver for many years. Sir Richard Dudley, I lived with him in the 70s, and I was working with John Meekum at the Hamilton Soup Kitchen. I was a volunteer there when I was very young, and I lived with Mr. Dudley. And then years later, I came back from Florida after my tour with the Carnival for 10 years, and I was his caregiver at the Farrell Towers, and I lived on the floor. And the whole time I lived on the floor, I created these beautiful, beautiful gardens to Janis Joplin, Jimi Hendrix, Jerry Garcia, and various other people that...
So can you describe those just so people know, when you say you're creating these flower beds, and then you have pictures of the people that you're honoring with the flower beds? Right.
For the Haight Street Fair, I did this Jimi Hendrix plot, and it's very elaborate. It showed various facets of his life. He basically lived around the same block upstairs with his girlfriend for a number of years when he wasn't traveling and touring. A great man, dedicated himself, and he was very, very innovative, and he was imaginative, and he broke a lot of beautiful dreams of enlightenment with his creativity of love with music. So I did a bunch of beautiful gardens just right before the Haight Street Fair a couple years ago. Basically what I do is I take out the old dirt, put in new dirt, and then I put in annuals and perennials, succulents and cacti, and then I wear women's cut pants, so I cut my pants at the knees, and I put my pants in the soil.
And they grow out of it.
And I put soil in the pants, and then I put the flowers and succulents and cactuses.
Right.
I do a lot of people...
Wait, that one's Jimi Hendrix too, right? Is that?
Yeah. This is
right on.
Basically...
and then you have bamboo with metal wiring around the...
no, it's just twine.
Oh, it's just twine. Got it.
It's just twine, because if you lay on the fence of the garden, it will actually bend back up.
Right. And how many of these have you done?
Hundreds of hours, thousands of hours, thousands of dollars, hundreds of plots. I had 40 planters going up and down Ashbury, and then hundreds of plots going up and down Haight Street, all the way to Stanyon to Central. And then actually I'd done hundreds of other gardens around the Bay Area in San Francisco and Oakland. And it's just there's a real sense of inner devotion and love, and it brings me great peace to give these gardens to people from around the world and locally in our communities, because it brings them peace. The vibrations of the flowers tune into the vibrations of the heart and soul, and the artwork tells people that we are here for each other, to dedicate through music, philosophy, and the culture of enlightenment of the spiritual realities of life.
And when you first started doing this you didn't get permission, right? You didn't get permission from the city. You just started doing it, and then people liked it. People were okay with it. Even the government's okay with it, right? Right.
Actually, after I started doing them, so many people encouraged me. But just to be on the safe side, I do have documentation. I went to all the businesses, and they signed my little that I'm okay with gardening, because actually in 96, 97, I'm in the Lower Haight, and I'm put things on the sidewalk to give away and get donations to help people. and I noticed trash around these trees.
Right.
So I started cleaning up the trash, and I'm going, there's something wrong here. This is not right. And then I go, well, wait a minute. I'll just plant some flowers. And then I was still living at Sir Richard's, and on Farrell and Jones, sleeping on the floor at a Farrell Towers. It's a rest home, and so he had a bunch of figurines. He collected hundreds and hundreds of cats, and he let me have a bunch of them. So I plant these flowers without no fence, and I put these figurines on, and it worked really well. And I did the whole block. I call it like a magical circle, healing circle around this one block of Lower Haight. And that was my first foray into the great wide world of gifting the power and enlightenment of Mother Nature. And it wasn't just flowers. I grew food. People would throw marijuana seeds in. Marijuana would grow. I mean, it was such beautiful joy. And then I'd have to do like 298 gallons of water a week. That's 5 gallons of water in each hand. And it was just amazing. The results, life's just beautiful if you make an effort. If you just make an effort to do things to help others. We're all one big tribe. Nobody's different. Nobody's special. We're all equal. And there's too many people trying to draw lines between us because of color of skin, dictating religion, war, disease. All that's unnecessary. We would really evolve into a higher realm and be a higher intelligence if it wasn't for all the prejudice and the war and the genocide, starvation. I'm very sensitive to people who suffer, and I'm kind of like humiliated that I'm on this planet and I'm trying to do good things and there's all these bad things going on. But I'm not going to give up because I really do love and respect myself, even though my mother hung herself, my sister drank herself to death, my grandfather shot his brains out. I mean, those were their decisions. I'm not allowed to do that. My angels did lay down the rules. Now, I'm not allowed to judge anybody, hurt or harm anybody, or take someone's life away. I mean, that's out of the question. And my journey will be beautiful. And it's not the destination. It's the journey of life through love and peace, enlightenment, patience. Forgiveness is the most powerful force in the universe. You're emitting real love. Unconditional, powerful love. You're neutralizing somebody else's hate. You're neutralizing their bitterness, their envy, whatever issues they have. You're neutralizing it with forgiveness. And forgiveness means so much to me because I forgive people every day. What they say about me, the assaults, the slander, I forgive everybody. I don't have time to get caught up in somebody's anger or hatred or bitterness. I'm doing, well, they say God's work. I'm doing love and respect from my heart to help heal people. I got to work at the Maritime Hall and serve food and drinks to James Brown, Jay-Z, Black Eyed Peas, Black Crows. A beautiful man gave me his bookstore for the last 6 months. He had it for 25 years. He let me have the key in the register, do whatever you want. I fixed up the bathroom with scarves and showed pictures of my gardens. You sit on the pot, read my poetry. I had planters out front. I actually, Muddy Waters, I beautified 3
You
of
turned it into a nursery.
Well, no.
Okay.
I had 30 vases of fresh flowers, had a rocking chair where I massaged women's feet. I bought wine and berries every night. And I didn't sell books. I asked for donations, and I got 3 times as much money asking for donations. And I booked in Peter Coyote, Alan Kaufman, Jack Kirschman, Occupy Poetry, Virginia Barnett.
Are these all famous? Sorry, are these all famous poets?
There people.
Writers?
There's people from around the Bay Area that have basically given us a lot of their love and energy through books and music and movies and energy. And it's basically, for 25 years, all the authors that went there, and there's hundreds of them, they all signed their names on the wall. So for 25 years, you have all these people from around the world that wrote books and did music, and all their names were on the wall. So it was very powerful little sanctuary. They had couches in there. You could go in there and eat. The beautiful people that worked the Chinese restaurant next door would come over and take naps.
Love it. And you said you received more money when you moved to a donation model.
Yeah, donations are asking people to give from their heart. It's not a set price.
Right.
If you set a set price, people like to haggle, or it turns them off.
Right.
And
something interesting that reminded me of is Nob Hill Liquors is right on the corner, right on the corner where I live, and I was asking Nima, he works there, and he, you know, the little give a penny, take a penny kind of thing, the little change thing that people. I asked him about that. I said, do you have to seed that? Like, do you have to make sure there's always pennies in there? So, and he says, no, we actually have to empty it out, because there's always an overflow of people just putting money in there. And I thought I would not have expected that. Obviously, it's not a donation, right? It's people just giving their change, but I still would not have expected that they would be there. It would be get to a point where it's overflowing and they actually have to put it in the register. I just thought that was like a cool little, like, wow, like people are giving more to this thing than they're taking from it. So that just reminded me of that.
Well, I really, sadly to say, do not believe in the value of money. To me, it's love and energy. As soon as I get it, I got to give it away.
Right.
Do something with it. I don't want to sit on it. I don't want it to go into an area that other people hold it for me and charge me to hold it for me. Right. I want to give it out to people, either in the form of medicinal, a form of food, a couple dollars. To me, everything, the food from the earth, the sunshine,
so there's medicinal,
the love,
we got
and
this
money
right here.
is all energy. It's all energy and love.
Right.
And it shouldn't be hoarded, because basically, documented, this is a material illusion. None of this goes back with us. Right. If we caught up too much in it, we're going to waste the rest of our lives. Like, oh, it's Easter, Christmas, Halloween, Valentine's Day. We have to go out and buy things. And then half the things we buy, we have to go put in storage and pay for it.
Right.
I mean, it's materialism of the highest illusion. People need to go to the ocean and relax and be healed. People need to love each other. Right. People need to forget about the different forms of manipulation, indoctrination, and oppression through fear, money, war, grief. We're here to be happy. We're here to help others. And yes, it's very difficult for many people who get caught in traps their whole life and become bitter, bad relationship, bad job, and they think there's nowhere to go. I've helped so many people get out of their traps. I fed people out of this one bakery for 4.5 years. I moved 8.5 tons of food on my bicycle, had 2 or 3 of my bicycles stolen. I got ran over one time. Basically, even at Everett Junior High, I went to school when I was younger. I'm feeding 20 people on the steps of my elementary school a few years later when I'm a grown man.
Right.
We're trying to be good humans with good decisions to have a good life. Unfortunately, I tried many years ago to make good decisions, and I've been very successful. I don't want to be trapped in the trappings that people are distracted with and let people have my money, have my materials, and people use you when you got something. If you have something and they want it, they're going to steal it from you.
Right.
I'm not into that. I'm in to my greatest moment to become angelically remitted when the time comes, and let the angels read my encoded soul that shows that I wasn't trapped and I didn't waste my time. And I did actually give the greatest devotion and sacrifices I can without overwhelming my position, because I do have to take care of myself and respect myself. And self-gratification of various items is another distraction. It shows the weaknesses of the heart, and people want to do something too much, drugs, alcohol, food, money. None of that means anything to me. I got an altar over here that means a lot to me. Mother Nature and my angels are my friends and my backup, and that means everything to me.
Right. How do you discern between? I know you said when you have things, when you have money, especially, it's the classic when you're rich and powerful, it's hard to know who really likes you for you and who likes you for the things that you have and the things you can do for them. but even if you don't have those things, there's still so much that you can give, as evident in the last half hour that we've been talking. How do you discern between people that are still trying to take advantage of your willingness to always give? Do you still have, and you mentioned still having to protect yourself a little bit. So are there some times when you have to say,
well, from 87 to 97, I traveled from Florida to Ottawa doing all the carnivals. We set up at dirt lots. We set up in churches, county fairs, and state fairs.
Right.
Thousands of years ago, every country around the world and every county in the United States, up to date now, would have a celebration of harvest. So basically, when I do a county fair, it's an agricultural fair. I've done Portland, Oregon, Albuquerque, Vermont. We set the carnival in for people to have another way to celebrate the agricultural fair, state fair, where you can eat all the food and see all the animals and the competition. And basically, through that energy, we bond together and we have good times together. And then they have concerts, and it's always full of dignity and grace. I entertain people traveling 20 years, 10 years on the East Coast, 10 years on the West Coast. Butler Amusements, West Coast, Amusements of America, East Coast. Giving out stuffed animals. When my boss wouldn't give out consolation prizes, I went out and bought my own consolation prizes.
Right.
Meeting people from around the world, I was enchanted to say, I love you in 30 languages. I do magic tricks. I sing Elvis.
And has anyone ever taken advantage of all those things that you can give?
People, yeah, there's people that have premeditatedly tried to exploit me, and I can see it right away. I mean, everybody wants to take advantage of somebody sooner or later for things because they feel either they're entitled to or they feel like they're smarter, but I forgive them and I let it go. I mean, there's no reason. You got to remember now,
right,
in this particular realm of time and history of humanity on this planet, there are many times that people, just because they're born here and they're entitled, empowered with money and power, corruption, or whatever, they feel they can do whatever they want to another human. Exploit women, exploit children, exploit the government, exploit life. And I feel that's wrong. And I feel that people should learn to be more genuine, sincere, kind, and loving. But, you know, I get on the bus and everybody's on there like this, you know.
Right. Everyone's on their phones.
And if I try to say, hi, I love you, I'd like to see you, the burglary alarm goes off and I'm a criminal. I got caught in the middle of the night. I'm going to get busted. Get away from me.
Isn't that funny that if you just go up to someone randomly and say, I love you, it's people would be freaked out by that. I mean, I think, to be honest, I think I would be a little, I'd be a little freaked out too. But it's weird it's a normal thing to be freaked out by someone saying, listen, I love you, man. I love you. Like, yeah. Is that okay?
I say I love you hundreds of times a night.
Right.
The thing is, in my heart, I understand people's issues. I really do. Unfortunately, I can't really help everybody mentally, spiritually, financially. But I can try to actually just inspire people. It's really hard because everybody's being controlled, indoctrinated, and everybody's in a hurry to go somewhere. I almost get ran over many times a night by cars that are in a hurry.
Right.
People have a sense that they're better than other people. You know, honk the horn, get out of my way. Right. I got a right to go where I'm going. You're in my way. I mean, that's so unnecessary, and sooner or later it's going to cause them problems. And that's one thing I try to do is avoid problems that are initiated by people who are, I guess, impolite and arrogant and selfish and bitter, upset. I've helped a lot of people. I've been a professional caregiver, gardener. I mean, to me, life's really important, so I've dedicated myself.
Right.
I've been, my roommate goes, oh, Jimmy, you need a business card. I go, I never thought about that.
That's the biggest fucking business card I've ever seen.
So I go, well, all right, what do I do? And I go,
Right.
so once again, with a little bit of nudging and whispering from my angels, I wrote the title, Him Extraordinaire. So I'm a clothes merchant. That means I give away clothes and get donations for clothes on
Oh, did you hear a knock?
the sidewalk. And
Do you need to get that?
yeah, can you go ahead and get that?
Yeah, I'll get that.
And so I'm a traveling concessionaire. I travel with the Carnival for 20 years, giving out stuffed animals. I'm hospitality director at the Maritime Hall. And
Okay, sweet. Yeah, where's the? Yeah, you're welcome to come in. Okay, yeah. Okay.
hospitality director, I worked at a nightclub serving food and drinks to various beautiful people who have devoted their life to music. You know, James Brown, Jay-Z, Black Eyed Peas, Black Crowes, Morrissey. James Hetfield used to jump in and play with Misfits. He'd jump in and play with Motorhead.
Right.
Lots of beautiful people, the Bangles. I got to meet other people in other places like Roy Orbison, shake his hand, Debbie Reynolds, Santana. It's just nice to see people and to be around them. And I love poetry and music and giving out things
Right.
with my love. Like I write songs and poems and share them quite a bit. Okay, I'm organic gardener.
Brother, this is gonna take 2 hours to get.
No,
Yeah.
I'm just going to say organic gardener.
Yeah, okay.
Natural photographer.
Right.
I've taken thousands of pictures.
Right.
Magical illusions. I do a lot of good magic tricks. I'm a poet of excursions. If you go to Jimmy Flowers' Facebook or
Yeah, where can people find Jimmy Flowers if they search that on Facebook?
uh-huh.
Okay, Jimmy Flowers. I'll make sure to link to that.
Or
for sure.
you can actually search engine the Hate Street Gardener or Jimmy Flowers Flower Ninja or Jimmy Flowers SF. Okay, I'm a meditator of dreams. When I was really young with my cousins, they used to have trouble sleeping, and while they were sleeping, I would give them induced auto-suggestion. Close your eyes. You're next to a creek. You can hear the creek. You can smell the flowers. You can feel the sun upon your face. And basically, they went to sleep feeling the creek and the sun
Right.
and smelling the flowers and listening to the birds sing, because it was induced auto-suggestion, and it worked quite well with people with sleeping problems. And then sensual masseuse. I put the female part on it because yin and yang, male and female. I tend to be a little bit more female in my attitude towards life.
Right.
Self-styled singer. I've sang at nightclubs. I've gotten tips at restaurants. I sing all the time to people every night, and I do magic tricks on the street, and I pull flowers out of people's hair. I'm a crystal healer. I've been working with stones and rocks, lapidary, since my aunt and uncle introduced me to the industry when I was very, very young. And the wisdom, enlightenment of flowers and stones from the earth actually do heal, enlighten, and it's living intelligence like mycelium. Ancient wisdom seeker. I'm always looking for the information and knowledge and wisdom that isn't always available to everybody, but it's very pertinent to me to be alive and survive, because I do live in dangerous moments with people that do threaten me, want to hurt me, and situations to where knowledge and wisdom can help another person. And I give away a lot of books to help people. These books were written by people who gave their lives for these books to be here to help us. Abstract painter. I've been painting and drawing for years. Master of disguise. I wear a short-haired wig because when I was younger, people used to profile me and categorize me with long hair.
Right.
I'd
When
go
you say profile, like they would judge you because you had long hair and think.
Well, I went in the bar a few times and with my hair down, and I could
Right.
see, you're a bum, you're a hippie, you're
Right.
a criminal, you're a drug addict. Get out of here. I put my wig on, and of course I'm clean shaven.
Right.
I put the wig on. Everybody wants to put their arm around me,
Nice.
buy me a drink, give me
Right.
money,
Right.
take me home.
Right.
I mean, this is back in the day, and it's not so bad now, but it was back then. I'd go into a place I wanted to work in office, or even the Carnival. Well, you can't work here. You have long hair.
You have long hair, right?
So I get a nice wig, put it on. They can't tell the difference. I got a
Wow.
job, and guess what, folks? I get to keep my hair.
And now you
And
can call
my
yourself
freedom.
a master of disguise.
Master of disguise,
Right.
because I do wear different outfits. I was
Right.
born Halloween. Halloween's so beautiful.
By the way, I have some water. Do you need some water?
No, I have apple juice.
Okay, sweet.
And the finer distortions when I take a camera and I move it around through different shadows and movement, and it distorts. And it's really amazing some of the things you can come up with.
Right. And then this last thing on here is
Harvest trimmer.
Harvest trimmer.
Yeah, I've been growing weed since I was living in Livingston. I had 100 plants my senior year in high school. I gave away 80 of them, kept 10. Grew up on Spy Rock in Laytonville, Old Dog Bar Road.
So did you grow this right here that you offered me before we started?
Yeah, that's 3 different buds, one strain. That's Girl Scout cookies. It's everybody's favorite.
Right.
I stopped smoking weed a few years ago after this young lady and I got to know each other, and I took her off the street because there's nothing wrong with her. I mean, she was just out there, and her brother worked at a company, her father worked at a company, but they didn't want to help her, so I did.
So you give. So just so we're clear, everyone, Jimmy Flowers is, and again, how I've seen him is he's walking around with a box and he has a whole bunch of joints like this and some other goodies in there, and so you're offering this people for a donation, but you don't partake. You don't smoke anymore.
Well, when I took Rebecca Ann Levides off the street, her brother worked at Pixar. Her father had an industry in Texas, and she was languishing and actually dying on the street. 46 years old, got a degree in dancing, just had an apartment and a job in Phoenix, and nobody was able to get her up and give her a little bit bridged to get back into society. And so I would drink beer with her and smoke weed with her, and when she became angelically remitted, I stopped smoking weed and drinking beer because I love and respect her, and I really don't need or want or desire beer or weed right now because I don't do recreational, I do medicinal, and right now
you don't need
I'm
it.
fine. It's not a matter of need, it's a matter if I'm ill, and it's a medicine, and it shouldn't be actually abused, but people just want to
get high.
Well, the drinking and the drugs are recreational.
Right.
A lot of it is meant for people that are ill or getting ready to leave this threshold. See, I sing with singers of the street, and we go out singing to people that need uplifting. And some organizations have singing where you go sing to people who are leaving the threshold, and that means leaving this threshold and going to the next threshold.
Right.
And all my life, I believed in being a Wiccan, a shaman, a magician, a healer, alchemist, pagan, and angelic giver of life and love. It's really difficult because people will challenge me. They don't believe in anything.
Sure.
And that's okay. I'm not here to teach. I don't deny any beliefs or topics.
You got another knock at the door.
I just believe in
keep riffing, brother.
Loving what is in the heart and soul is a natural phenomenon that we are born with. Our ancestors actually gave a lot of love and sacrifices for us to be here. So basically, I'm honoring my ancestors and I'm honoring other ancestors so we can basically be tribal and share what's important to us and not be distracted or indoctrinated or oppressed through fear and money,
right,
and war and commercials and materialism.
Right. And when you get these donations, when you're giving this stuff away, where does that where do you put that money towards? What do you put that money towards?
Basically, a lot of the money will go to food, clothing, or blankets, and then the rest of the food I'll use to buy something that somebody needs. If they want something certain like an article of clothing. I did a homeless benefit at Haight-Ashbury at Ben & Jerry's for 13 years. I gave away jackets, socks, shoes, stuffed animals, money, weed, cookies on Christmas Day, because some would go to the Boys and Girls Club and some would go to the Hamilton Church soup kitchen. And when they're done, they have nowhere to go, and they'd come by. And after the first couple of years, they knew they'd come by and see me, and I'd give them stuff. And basically, I have a closet that I pay storage for, and I would store up things during the whole year, and then I'd take a bunch of my stuff and get rid of it because, we all have clothing we don't wear anymore. And so it was always a great honor to be able to give, and people don't have nobody on Christmas Day when the whole world's together with families and eating at tables.
Right.
So this is like my Christmas table was Ben and Jerry's. Come and eat at my table and
Right.
take whatever you want.
Right. Right on. I love that.
And then all the gardens were there, so it was like it was home sweet home for
Just
me.
a magnifying effect.
Yeah.
I love it. I'm curious how you've been here. You've been in SF on and off for 40 years now, something like that.
Well, I was born here, and then after my mother died, there wasn't really too many places to stay. So my aunt and uncle would take me to Kingman, Arizona, where they had a lapidary shop on Route 66. When Mr. Butler owned all the property, and you heard his name on the radio every day, he was selling property, and I'd get to see all these beautiful lightning strikes and meet Gila monsters. And my sister found a German Shepherd named Knothead, and that was our pet for many years.
Knothead.
And then Kingman, and I went to Ohio, and then we came back to California, and I grew up in elementary school. And then when I got older, I was here and there, and then I graduated high school, went to Stanislaus State, and then in the end there, I would hitchhike all the time to San Francisco.
Right.
I called up a radio station, KFRC, back in the 70s, and they were going to give me tickets to see Led Zeppelin, but they ran out of Led Zeppelin basically got in a car wreck, so they gave me Carole King tickets. So I went with Isaac Bunny, my high school teacher, to San Francisco to see Carole King. We went and checked we signed into City Hall because we were just being hippies. We went upstairs and smoked a joint, came back down, went and saw Carole King. Isaac Bunny and I would hike 13 miles into Tuolumne Meadows when I was 16, 17.
Oh, right on.
So when I got older, I lived in Las Vegas for a couple years, Phoenix for a couple years, San Diego, Ohio, and I did my stint with Florida to Canada. And then when I worked with Butler Amusements, it was Albuquerque State Fair, New Mexico, Portland, Blackfoot, Boise, L.A., Fresno,
you've been all over.
Bakersfield.
Right.
I love life, and it's great to be able to travel. I believe if you stay in one place too long, your polarity changes and it becomes a little negative. So if you move around a little bit, you're actually refreshing yourself as if you were a crystal going to the ocean and being cleansed by the ocean.
Right. How has the city changed in over the course of? I mean, I know it's changed a lot in the last 10 years, just with the tech boom. And all, the rent going way up and people coming in, gentrification. How has your experience been with that?
Well, it's progress. We can't really, they're going to protest the buses coming up from down south and bringing up all these people and the technology, but you can't point your finger at anybody and blame anybody.
Right.
The simple fact, it's actually progress. Back in the Wild West, the towns would be towns, and the only way you can get to a town was by horse. And then what? A railroad came through. And then after a railroad, it just grew and grew. It's progress. You can't really blame technology or people. Humanity's progressing, hopefully, in a similar fashion, in a positive, objective fashion, which doesn't always work well. Because everybody wants control and everybody wants to have something for themselves, and it leaves the haves against the have-nots.
Right.
And so there's a definite definition of people who are with lots of money and people who are with no money.
Right.
When obviously it shouldn't be that way, but
so you call
it's a struggle. Everything's a struggle.
Right. So you called it progress.
Uh-huh.
But at the same token, you've also said that we've kind of, we've been regressing for the last 5,000 years. So do you mean progress in a good way, or do you just mean progress in a amoral, it's not, you're not saying it's good or bad, you're just saying it's progress. Like, is this progress, would you consider it a good thing?
Well, everything in life is yin and yang, love and light, male and female. Right. Everything. And it's basically people need to come to an understanding that we as humans on this planet during this time must be as much giving as we can. And when we vote for a bill in the voting time to give 1% to people to help them get off the street, basically since certain people were president and governor of the state, we've had no affordable housing at all. And all of a sudden, everybody's scratching their heads and saying, we need affordable housing. I mean, if we would have had affordable housing back then when he was governor and then president, we wouldn't have these problems right now. But the have-nots and the haves have created this great divide.
Right.
And now we have a great challenge to build a bridge between the have-nots and the haves. And it's very challenging and very painful. And there's a lot of different organizations that are taking advantage of this. And it's very sad. And I just feel for the people that are suffering right now. And that's why I'm out on the street taking care of them as much as I can, which is overwhelming. But I love and respect people because they're all my friends and they deserve better in life.
Right. I really appreciate that perspective. I'm curious. I just want to we got some activity over here. I'm curious. Do you have? You seem like someone that would have some pretty strong feelings on Trump. Do you think he's? Do you have any thoughts on? Do you have any strong feelings on him? Is he a symptom of the issues? Is he the issue? Do you not pay politics much mind? You just kind of think it's all just, whether it's Trump or someone else, it's the same power struggle between the haves and the have-nots, or where do you fall on this, Jimmy?
All my life, I've trained myself to be a professional. I was selling snow cones at the Turlock Parade when Monty Hall was Grand Marshal.
It always comes back to the jobs you've done.
Well, I'm getting there. I'm getting there.
No, I love it.
I worked at Myrtle Beach when Vanna White was Grand Marshal, and basically I'm a trained professional.
Right.
I understand problems. I find people that are very ill. Like the other night, this person wasn't breathing, and I thought they were and I got the authorities to look at it, and I thought they were done.
Right.
And then a few days later, I found out, guess what? They revived the person just in the nick of time. So the point being is that I don't want to be distracted by greed, corruption, stupidity, ignorance, by those forces. I'm a trained professional. I invented the box, and it's not just marijuana. It has other things in it.
Right.
But it's magical and powerful. It has saved lives. It has given money and energy to people. I am devoted. I am focused. I am grounded into saving lives, feeding people. I will not let and I will not dishonor my ancestors by being distracted by things that have nothing to do with me.
Right.
When in my heart, I know what I'm doing, and it's very, very important to me to actually want to make a difference in not only my community, but the world. And I devote myself to the glorious devotion of the divine glory of the heart and soul through the divine laws of the universe, the eternal truth of karma and angelic remittance. And that's all it means to me.
Right.
Hey, if I become angelically remitted tomorrow, I have no regrets. There's been a lot of problems. People have caused me a lot of problems, but they cause other people's problems. I don't take it personal, but I will not honor people and say their names because it's a distraction.
Right.
It's indoctrination to take our minds and hearts away from who we really are.
Right.
And that's the truth. That's the glorious truth.
Right.
When you dig into something that's going on, the truth is there's a lot worse things going on. And it's a distraction. So whatever these people are doing and you want to argue about them, I mean, they broke my finger at a cafe recently. I was attacked because they were talking about these people, and I walked in at the wrong time, and I was attacked. I've been attacked by mentally ill people. I will not harm them. I unfortunately let the person assault me and then went to the hospital, but I will not hurt people, judge people, harm people. I'm trying to be a real human to inspire other beautiful men and women and children to be other beautiful humans.
Right.
Children would come to me at the carnival, and I taught them all my magic tricks to inspire them to be better humans. I will do anything I can, what's in my power, to really show kindness and caring and sacrifice. And I do get a lot of people that give me a hard time and slander me. People that, see, this is the main thing right now.
Right.
People don't have time to do things they really want to do because they're caught in their traps. And then they see that, oh, I got time to plant flowers, feed people, grow marijuana.
Right.
They're not happy to see that. And then they tear up my gardens, and then they challenge me, and they try to rob me. I don't take none of that personal. I'm on a journey. The destination I already know about. I've been there. Death is nothing to me.
Right.
Nothing to me. I got molecules that I've taken really good care of, a good diet. I sleep well. I work hard. I exercise. I give, sometimes I even give food away. Like Thanksgiving, I will not eat anything at all during the whole day of Thanksgiving. I will not touch any food at all. There's too many people starving in this world, too many people that are being ignored. And so for the whole day of Thanksgiving, I won't eat anything, maybe drink some liquids. And then when midnight comes, I'll eat a meal or snack on some fruit. And I don't eat meat at all. I worked at a chicken ranch, turkey ranch when I was younger. Those are my friends. Animals are my friends. We shouldn't be eating animals. The false advertisement, just like in Death about animals, we need the protein. No, we don't. And what they do to these animals before they process them and the things they feed them are actually bad for you. I mean, there's viruses that they give these chickens, and then the chickens poop, the virus comes out and affects other chickens and affects humans. We're just committing these atrocities, and it's just going to, come back on us. Animals are good animals. We need not to go around getting trophy animals from Africa, eating animals. There's plenty of fruits and vegetables. There's plenty of food for everybody in the world. But unfortunately, a lot of other humans don't want to go out and feed the people that are dying in Africa and starving, getting blown up in Yemen, Syria. People are just empowering themselves. Pharmaceutical companies are letting millions of people die every year with opioids just so they can be rich and powerful. I mean, I wouldn't approve of any of that. If I had control on it, I would basically neutralize that energy and spread it around the world so everybody can eat and have medical attention and housing. It's possible. My foremost theory is that nothing is impossible in life. Anything's possible, even beyond the realm of understanding. That's why I'm into the spiritual world, not the material world. The material world can actually destroy you, get you incarcerated, you can OD, you can get ran over. I mean, being a spiritual person without any indoctrination or manipulation or distractions of things that go on in the media is really harmful to every human. And some technology, yes. I believe in the divine glory of the heart and soul, of loving, forgiving, and feeding and supporting those less fortunate. And there's been a few men throughout history that dedicated their hearts and souls to that, and I honor them. I honor their ancestors, and I'm trying to honor my ancestors. We all make mistakes. We're all beautiful people. It's really difficult to get through the massive indoctrination and accumulation of crap that's in the media, because it controls us and it uses us, and we waste a whole lifetime by being something that we're not. I want to be who I really am, and I fight for it every day, and it means a lot to me, and I'm very honored to be in a position to have the time to feed people, to grow marijuana, to plant flower gardens, because those things help people become better people, and that's what I'm about, and I'm honored.
Jimmy Flowers, the godfather of San Francisco. Jimmy, this has been epic. I appreciate you coming on and sharing with the world. I hope that in your ethos, people listen to this and they it makes them a better human. As with so many of the things that you're doing, that that's your goal. So I hope that I'm helping you along on this journey, brother. And I appreciate you coming on and being so honest and sharing what's going on between the ears, brother. I really appreciate it. Thanks for coming on, brother.
Lovely.
Lovely. Oh, wow, Jimmy. Right on, brother.
Not too bad.
Not too bad. Not too bad. Thanks a lot. That was epic. Thanks for waiting.
Yeah, of course.
Come on in, baby girl.